Mother Nature pours down on our area, even trapping a man inside his car.
Yeah, the sun saved my life.
And creating water spouts on the river. And much of that weather damage is spread across our area. Lightning hit another person on the Outer Banks. Kill Devil Hills Fire Station says they got a call about a woman being hurt, and the power is out for a large part of Elizabeth City. Here you can see there are trees down. We'll have live team coverage from Elizabeth City in just a moment, but first let's toss it over to meteorologist Deidre Tate. And Deidre, you are still tracking some storms out on the Outer Banks.
That's right. More so around Hatteras. Things have dried out quite a bit for those locations. Let's say up towards Rodanthe and Kitty Hawk. A little bit left over around Rodanthe, but again, much better conditions there. But Hatteras, you're just dealing with some moderate rain. More of the storms have kind of pushed more westward, and also Edenton getting clipped with a little light rain. For Elizabeth City, again, things are much drier there versus what we saw several hours ago. And for most of Hampton Roads, again, besides a shower here or there, we're looking at, again, some really nice weather compared to what we've seen. So here's a look at some of the rainfall totals that we've seen thus far over the past 24 hours. More than 2 inches in Williamsburg, around an inch in Norfolk. But keep in mind, this is just over at the airport, the official reporting place. But there have been many locations within the Norfolk area that picked up more than an inch. So don't necessarily stick with that number, but that's just an estimate for the airport. Elizabeth City picked up a little more than an inch and 3/10, and Manio, for the, let's say, most part, picked up about 1/4 of an inch. I think that's not accurate. I think it was definitely a little more than an inch of rain that they picked up as well. As far as what's going on for the Tides game, if you have plans on heading there, maybe you decided not to because you thought it was going to be a rainy scenario, go ahead and go. The weather has definitely improved. It's going to be a nice game in terms of weather. Temperatures will pretty much stay in the upper 70s throughout the time period for that. Stay tuned. I'll give you an hour-by-hour view of your forecast for tomorrow and the rest of the week coming up.
All right, Deidre, thanks. And now team coverage of the storms takes us to Elizabeth City. 10 on your sides. Liz Kilmer is there. So, Liz, how are the roads looking now?
Well, the roads are looking okay, Deanna, but power outages, that's the problem right now. Folks all around here are without power and have been for several hours after lightning reportedly struck a tree here, splitting it in half. This is South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive near Shepherd Street. You can see utility crews hard at work trying to carefully remove the tree from power lines that had been pulled down. Fortunately, when the tree went down, it missed these nearby homes. As for damage elsewhere, the town manager reports several areas flooded earlier. We didn't see too much of that driving in, though. We're told there were weather-related accidents throughout the area, but fortunately no one was hurt. And then as for this incident here, we haven't heard any reports of injuries. So right now the priority is just cleaning this up. You can see lots of debris here on the side of the road. Cleaning this up and getting the power restored. Those are the plans for right now. We're live in Elizabeth City. I'm Liz Kilmer, 10 on your side.
Liz, thank you. And before the next storm hits, download our free Wavy Weather app and get your alerts right to your mobile device. And now we have breaking news coming in from Norfolk. Police say that someone shot a woman on Thurgood Street. Paramedics took her to the hospital. Officers say a suspect is in custody. We have a crew on the way to the scene. Stay with us as we learn more about this information. Also in Norfolk, do you recognize this man? Police are looking for him in connection with the homicide from this weekend. Officers say he's 23-year-old Ricardo Spencer. Investigators believe he was behind a double shooting on Greenleaf Drive. That's off Campostella Road. It happened on Saturday. 25-year-old Justin Neal died. Medics took another man to the hospital who is expected to recover. If you can help officers find Spencer, call the crime line. Okay, now let's get into your top 7 at 7 tonight. A jury will now decide the future of former Portsmouth police officer Stephen Rankin. Both sides have rested in the murder case. Rankin took the stand today, claiming self-defense when he shot and killed William Chapman at the Walmart on Frederick Boulevard last year. Chapman was unarmed, but Rankin says he charged.
I drew my pistol, my department pistol, and I pointed it in his direction. And I started, and at this point, my adrenaline's pumping, and at this point, honestly, I'm scared. He's got my taser, he's overpowered me, he's got away from me, he's not trying to leave, he's facing me, he's being aggressive.
The jury is expected to be back deliberating around 9:15 tomorrow morning. Now, Rankin shot and killed another man in 2011, and though he was cleared in that shooting, the victim's mother was in court today. This morning, Elena Denyankin and Sally Chapman Williams' mother both said they're sure Rankin is guilty of first-degree murder. Denyankin traveled 6,000 miles from native Kazakhstan to watch the Rankin trial. It's something she didn't see after her own son Krill died. A grand jury and civil jury cleared Rankin. In that case, Denyankin does not speak English, but she spoke to us through an interpreter.
Все было как будто вчера.
It's 5 years, but it seems like it was yesterday. This pain will be always. We lost older son.
This woman here, she didn't get her justice for her son. My case concerning my son, we still connected. We're connected, so if I get justice, then we get justice together.
At number 3 now, one person died during a car crash in Chesapeake. Police say one car was trying to make a left from Portsmouth Boulevard onto Dock Landing Road when it hit the other car, when another car hit it. 3 other people involved in the crash went to the hospital. Right now, we're working to learn how they're doing and exactly what caused that crash. Maureen McDonald wants her corruption convictions thrown out. It comes after the Supreme Court overturned Bob McDonnell's conviction and sent his case back to the appeals court. Lawyers for the former Virginia First Lady filed documents this week saying erroneous jury instructions identified in former Governor Bob McDonnell's case apply to her case too. Lawyers in Bob McDonnell's case have until August 29th to decide how to proceed. Solar panels will soon go up at Virginia Beach's Naval Air Station Oceana. Governor Terry McAuliffe announced a partnership between the Navy and Dominion Virginia Power. The solar farm will benefit the base itself and help power surrounding homes. It's estimated to save the Navy $400,000 in energy costs over the next 20 years. At number 6 tonight, a Navy pilot safely ejected after an FA-18 Hornet crashed this morning in Nevada. The jet went down this morning southeast of Naval Base in Fallon. We're told the pilot was returning to base from a routine training mission. Ground crews picked him up and took him to the medical center. No word yet on what caused that crash. And now at number 7, the rain may have put a dampen on city's National Night Out. Norfolk is rescheduling its for next month, and Elizabeth City canceled tonight. The night is just getting started, though, over in Virginia Beach. It's the 33rd annual National Night Out, a time dedicated to telling criminals they're not welcome in the neighborhood. And this story wraps up your top 7 at 7. Last month, 10 on Your Side began a new initiative focused on Hampton Roads residents working to take back their community. Since our first piece aired, there have been 7 more homicides across the 7 cities. We wanted to know what's being done to combat crime in our area. We've introduced you to several groups of people from all walks of life working to make their neighborhoods safer. This Thursday night, join us for a 30-minute special dedicated to those people working to make a difference. That's at 7:30 Thursday, right after our own show, Wavy News 10 at 7, right here on Fox 43. You can also catch a second airing of the Taking Back the Community special Sunday night at 6:30 before the Olympics. Failed fundraiser. Tonight, we're holding a Virginia Beach business owner accountable after complaints she didn't pay up following a charity event. Coming up, the apology after we started asking questions. Plus, 10 on Your Side gets more answers and fast after a mother sends us these pictures of a local school. And we ask the expert about recent barricade situations, why we may start to see longer standoffs with police. Tonight, we're hearing from a SWAT team leader on how police handled 2 recent barricade situations in Norfolk. He says what happened last week in Norfolk, especially that 3-day situation on Melrose Parkway, certainly is unusual. Police blocked roads and told neighbors to stay inside as they waited out Larry Wooster. Former Virginia Beach SWAT team leader Tommy Shattuck says that's normal, but the length of time it took is not.
Most SWAT team leaders and SWAT team operators would say that 4 days is a very long time. But you want to make sure that the person who's in that house is not comfortable in the house. There's things you can do without deploying lethal force to make that event go a little bit more quickly.
The former SWAT team leader believes police were being sensitive to the changing climate across the country and other recent officer-involved shootings in the city. He thinks we could see a lengthy barricade situation again. Ahead, we'll take you to a storm-damaged tour around our area, and you'll hear from the man who had to evacuate his car through the roof. Tonight, many neighborhoods are drying out after the earlier deluge. Let's go around our area to show you the flooding. Here's what it looked like in Virginia Beach. Heavy raindrops started to pool on Princess Anne Road in the Englewood neighborhood. And take a look at this new video we have in from Norfolk. One man, you can see him there, had to climb on top of his car on Robin Hood Road after it flooded. But we talked to him on dry ground, and he says his sunroof saved his life.
My windows wouldn't go down no more, and they had to push it out. You know, they had to push me backwards before I could even get out. So they pushed me. It was like about right here. I'm just like, someone help, please, you know. And then they finally decided to help. And when they pushed it back, I got out. As soon as I got out, we came right here, and we started helping other people.
And remember, never drive through flooded waters. Here's new video from the peninsula. High water from the rain rose quickly in Newport News. Roads near Warwick Boulevard and 43rd Street. You can see underwater, people driving through them again. Well, if you can expect this again, Deirdre will have that for you in just a few minutes. Well, after we started asking questions, an oceanfront business owner admitted she has yet to pay up on a promise, and it's still unclear when she will. Nats on Mediterranean sponsored a fundraiser in April for a woman involved in a devastating bike accident. But so far, the victim hasn't received any of the donations. 10 on Your Side's Joe Fisher has been tracking down the missing money.
Melissa Gumm says she's learning to walk again after breaking 25 bones, including her skull, spine, and both legs. 10 on Your Side at 19th and Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach back in March after a car hit Gumm while riding her bicycle.
She was very critical condition. They were contacting next of kin the night of her accident.
Friends quickly organized a benefit for Gumm at Nats on Mediterranean, just 2 blocks from where it happened. The business promoted the fundraiser on their Facebook page. These videos show some of the more than 20 musicians who showed up in support of Gumm.
The benefit was outstanding. We raised a good amount of money for it. We had donations from all over the oceanfront.
Amy Stowe, the bar's owner, says she agreed to give a portion of the bar sales to Gumm, along with money raised from raffles. She mailed this check for $1,186 to Gumm a few weeks after the event. Gumm tells 10 on Your Side the check bounced.
People came to this benefit with the intention of this money going to Melissa to help her. They didn't go to it to help Amy or help her business.
Friends tried for months to get answers from Stowe. The business has since shut down, so 10 on Your Side tried tracking her down at her home on Thursday. Stowe called back Friday, saying she thought they received the money.
I don't want to make excuses, Joe. It's not. I don't want to do that, you know. I take full responsibility, and I'm very hard on myself, so I want to make it right as soon as possible.
3 months later, Gumm and her friends are not convinced they'll get their cash, but they say they'll continue putting pressure on Stowe to make good on her promise.
It's just frustrating that she wouldn't return the money to the girl who needs it.
Reporting in Virginia Beach, I'm Joe Fisher, 10 on Your Side.
Gumm says she could really use that money for medication because she doesn't have insurance. Stowe says she called Gumm Friday after 10 on Your Side got involved. She says she plans to pay her back a little at a time as that money becomes available. We'll be sure to follow up and make sure that money is received. And 10 on Your Side gets answers for a mom concerned about the safety of her son's cross-country practice, and we got them within hours. Sarita Elmore sent us these pictures last night. She took them at Hampton High School, where her son had his first cross-country practice yesterday. Elmore took these pictures. She says there's water damage that she saw, sagging ceiling tiles, even wet floors. But what concerned her the most were those wires coming out of the ceiling.
Why did you contact 10 on Your Side?
Something needed to be done ASAP. It needs to be fixed before school starts. You know, it's 30 days left now, so something has to be done. Kids shouldn't have to go in an environment like that.
Well, within about 2 hours, Hampton City Schools spokesperson responded to our call. She wrote in an email, the water damage is from over the weekend, and they're still working to find the source of that leak. She also said those weren't electrical wires that you saw. They've been tied up and put back in the ceiling, and coaches have been instructed to hold practices away from that space for the time being. All right, well, we've seen a lot of rising water in some areas.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will start to go away, but not everyone's out of the clear, is in the clear rather yet, right?
Right. Most of us aren't, but we just still are watching those few showers around the Outer Banks. It is looking better there, though, which is good.
Okay.
And then for the rest of the night, I think most locations will have a better scene to deal with. As far as what's going on right now, Super Doppler 10 tracking just a few showers, again, primarily across the Outer Banks. Hatteras, for the most part, dealing with the more moderate rain activity right now. You're drying out around places like Rodanthe and Manio and even Edenton. You have a little bit of rain around you, but again, not much now. And Elizabeth City is a much drier place versus several hours ago. And you see most of Hampton Roads looking pretty good. What you're looking at right now are rainfall estimates. Kind of zooming on in here, we'll give you a different perspective. We had quite a bit of rainfall in spots over the Outer Banks. I'm going to give you just an idea of what many locations picked up, about, let's say, 1.25 inches, anywhere between Manio and Rodanthe, where you see a little bit of yellow there around Kitty Hawk. They picked up a little more than 2 inches, and a lot of this fell in a short amount of time, I should say. Currituck picked up roughly about 2 inches, a little bit shy of that, primarily around the Gregory area. And as we go a little bit further north, around places in Norfolk, picked up, let's say, anywhere from 1/2 inch of rain to possibly close to 1 inch, and around the areas near Newport News and Hampton picked up a quick inch with some of those heavier rain bands that came on by. So as far as your weather headlines, only isolated showers are expected now through the rest of the evening. Otherwise, it's going to be some nice weather that we get to enjoy as we head into tomorrow, and then we get to tap into some slightly cooler conditions as well beginning tomorrow, and it'll be a little less muggy since this front is going to make its way into North Carolina and stall out as we work our way between the next 12 hours or so. So again, we'll tap into a better air mass as we work our way into our Wednesday. Here's look Wednesday morning, and you see definitely a mix of clouds and sun. Not a lot of green on the map, which is good. Not really got an isolated shower because the front's going to stall out across North Carolina, so I think the better place to receive that shower will be across North Carolina, closer to the front. Otherwise, through the afternoon, looks pretty good. Again, a little bit cooler, not as muggy. And as we head into our Thursday, it'll be a similar scene. As far as temperatures, we're expecting mid-80s for the most part as we work our way through our afternoon on Wednesday. And even for your Thursday, courtesy of being north of that front, we're going to also enjoy some mid-80s before temperatures try to warm up a bit by Friday and the weekend. As far as the tropics, we're watching our newest tropical system. It is Tropical Storm Earl. It is continuing to make its way westward. As of the last advisory, it had max sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, moving west at 16. And it's not going to be an impact to the U.S., which is good news, but it's going to continue to make its way towards the Yucatan Peninsula over the next 48 hours, and then eventually into the Bay of Campeche, and then on into Mexico as it makes landfall by the weekend. Temperatures right now, though, into the 70s, 79 in Norfolk, 76 for Elizabeth City, 79 also for Melfa, and the same temperature for Williamsburg, so that's a common temperature right now. But overall temperatures will stay in the 70s through the evening, and overnight tonight we're expecting mid-70s for lows. And again, any showers out there will be tapering off, and at best only an isolated shower is expected as we head into tomorrow. So as we look at temperatures tomorrow, as I mentioned, we're expecting most locations to hover around the mid-80s. We'll go 85 for Virginia Beach, 87 for Suffolk, 86 for Edenton, 84 for Newport News, but a little bit cooler at Wallops Island will put you at 82. Here's your 7-day outlook. Isolated showers for Wednesday. Otherwise, though, again, looking pretty good. And those isolated showers primarily will be into North Carolina. Thursday, cooler. Friday, a little warmer. But by the weekend, it gets hot for Saturday. Cold front crosses Saturday night, brings a few showers and storms, then cooler behind it.
Deidre, thank you. Now take a look at this video of a water. All right, we're back now with amazing video of a water spout over the James River. Take a look. A viewer sent us this spectacular sight. There it is in the back. Thankfully, nobody was hurt and nothing was damaged. But talking about these water spouts, what do they mean in comparison to like a tornado? Because that's what they look like.
Yeah, they do look like that. Actually, you have two types of water spouts. You have a tornadic water spout and you have a fair weather water spout. Tornadic water spouts are usually affiliated with severe weather, so that's probably what that was. And then you have the ones you have on really nice days under a little cumulus cloud. Those are fair weather water spouts. So there are two different types. Whatever you do, if you're in the boat and you see a water spout,
what does it mean
you want to go at a 90-degree angle to the direction you think it's moving, and eventually you'll kind of get out of the path.
All right, but maybe you're not going to see any of those at least tomorrow, looking a little bit better.
Yeah, it looks much better tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Deidre. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back at 10 and 11 with your latest news, weather, and sports. In the meantime, all the day's top stories right now on wavy.com.